Welcome to the couch. We have with us today Duncan. Say hello, Duncan.
Hello, Duncan.
Oh, we have the mystery guest, Chris.
Hello, mystery guest Chris.
And as always, we have Joshua Morston right in the middle.
What's up, everybody?
Yay!
Earthlings, aliens.
So our conversation went a little political, and I kind of want to continue that route. We were discussing a better system where everyone's individual input was tabulated and worked out to come up with that mass wisdom, the intelligence of the masses. So my question for you guys today is, what does that world look like where everyone's input is tabulated and averaged out?
It's got to be a Facebook poll. That's it. Everyone's on Facebook, and you just ask the people.
Hail Emperor Zuckerberg! Emperor Zuckerberg, King of the Neds, what will we do? No. But I know that
Why
was
do
a
we
joke.
go to all these ballots, and we have to, we walk into places, and everyone's on Facebook in front of their 24/7. Just pop up, Zuckerberg puts a little post out. Hey, what do you think about this? People go ah, and then you just tabulate those, and you get the bar graph.
Check out my wife.
That's
Check
it.
out my baby. Check out my charity. It's like billions of dollars. I think that like anything that's still in a corporate facade can't be like a true democratic view. Like it can't be a true.
I think a government-funded polling system would be the best, where you like sign in with a social security number and a password that you designate at time of registration, and then whenever something national comes up, the poll goes out, everyone votes, and bam. I think that would be really cool.
Totally.
I feel like I just got pulled over by the government.
I feel like
Shit
even though
my
the
taxes today.
Facebook thing was really said in jest, I mean I definitely think that there's something about everyday active media that we interact with and that we all have meaningful participation with something that's we connect to it. It's a simple means of gathering data, but there's really a lot of ballast to the data that's collected, where what we're adding as far as inputs into the system are a lot of jokes with our friends, and where Google comes up with an amazing idea to put a virtual like an AI bot online so that everybody can play with it, and they turn it into this like absurdly Zionist or like a Nazi, whatever, like some Nazi slut or something.
To be fair to
Which
the
is-
Googlers, that was Microsoft's Microsoft Bing, I believe.
And if you're one of the few people who hasn't heard of that, you should click on Joshua's chest and it'll show you what we're talking about. Yeah, right there. Right there.
Yeah, baby. I was about to do that.
I mean, I'm a traditionalist, I'm not really bucking the tides too much. I think a parliamentary voting system would actually be really, really positive and give a lot of people agency, or at least a feeling of agency that didn't really have it before. Like if 1% or 2% of the country, look at where I'm thinking. If 2% of the country that votes libertarian actually gets to elect real libertarians that don't have to listen to anybody, that get to like have 2% of the representatives in Congress, and that can be pulled into the left or the right in coalitions. Well, wait a second. You've created a possibility and a third force and an ability for new things to come into a powerful system.
But that still doesn't capture any of the perspectival distinctions that would be made between all of the different libertarians or, anarchists for that matter. I mean, the incredible diversity and the sense in which we flow across the full spectrum of alternate political points of view and have different attitudes about every different aspect of the world, every dimension of the cognitive sphere of what humans inhabit. And so doesn't it seem like the best thing would be if we could find some viable means for collectively discovering, uncovering, and computing all the layers of the ideas that people have, so that all of that stuff becomes subtle inputs rather than just these sort of bulk. You've got ideologue A here and ideologue B, and then you have these hashed out arguments between people who are frozen in belief systems.
Well, we're incredibly advanced in some levels of our civilization and incredibly backwards in others. And you don't just like take a magic wand from the advanced parts of society and like wave it and then boom, government has like ascended into a true representation of every living individual. Like, I think it has to go through iterations, or what you'll have like a French Revolution scenario where it's like, yay, let's throw down the government, let's build something new, hurrah! And then like everyone's at each other's throats because civilization hasn't developed past the necessity of an authoritarian ruler and a strongman phase. I mean, like, look at all the people wearing red baseball caps today, you know, basically voting for a Persian strongman who can protect us against the inevitable enemy and, you know, the foreigners and barbarians at the gates from China who want to take a job, you know, like all that. We have to evolve as a civilization first, as a society first, and having a proportional representation system will actually allow people to get their voices heard. It will let society become less binary and more granular, and naturally more and more granular the more granulation is actually allowed in the system. So it's more flexible.
Yeah,
sure.
I wanted to see what Chris said about that. If there were this system where everyone's opinion had a percentile pull, what would the effect on the individual be, do you think?
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit because we're sort of making this assumption that I feel like we're talking about these decorative layers on top of the cake when really like everything that we really want exists at the foundation. So the reason I say that is because if you think about what technologies are available right now to like have like idea A get to place B, and just all the different combinations of human interaction that could be expressed, it's infinite, right? We could literally summon like at least most of the Western world with one click of a button in one central idea. That's not the problem. I feel like the problem is really getting people to see that I mean, it sounds kind of cheesy, but really getting people to be on the same page about what we want to do while we're on this planet. Very simple. And I say, like, I see, like, this sort of flaw in there's this big discrepancy in, like, the design of the human being and the design that's happened into the modern world, I guess. And so, like, bridging that gap in my personal experience to, like, my natural human tendencies to, like, the world that I'm living in, it's been a very difficult process. And I think that if people are educated a little bit better about, like, being able to be with the things that come up inside of them, then they'll be more, like, they'll feel more heard, they'll be more receptive, and, like, people all together will be more open for new ideas instead of, like you said, I like what you said about these two parties which have concrete beliefs just bashing each other, and we're wasting so much of our time and energy watching these two parties just bash up against each other that have very concrete ideas.